Hey guys, welcome back to the JPM Performance channel. It is once again time for a shop tour. For those of you that got to see the shop tour last week, haha, Perry got me. It was pretty funny. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch last week's shop tour. Perry did a nice little parody. Perry did a parody on, I don't know if he's trying to make fun of me or if he's just having a good time. I think he's just having a good time. It's really funny. Check it out. It was our Halloween shop tour last week. So here we are, right here on November 9th. It has actually been 2 weeks since we've had a full-blown shop tour. So I've got some things to show you guys. We'll start out here. Well, you can see I've got a differential completely apart and in the solvent tank here. This is kind of how I start with them. Get them in the solvent tank, get them cleaned up. Do a double inspection on everything, you know, file the flat surfaces on the housing case, things like that, and just make sure everything's good before we really get into the restoration and the proper building of the differential. So what we've got here is Bill Verdine's new transmission going together. I'll actually have the rest of the bits and pieces for it today so we can get this all put back together, but you can see I've got the cases drilled out. Put in these bigger bolts, go from 8mm to 10mm bolts. The reason we do that is these gears are so much more straight cut, they seem to kind of force each other apart, and we've had some issues over the years with the stock 8mm bolts breaking. So I like to retap the bell housing, drill out all the cases, put in the big bolts, get all the modifications done. So, oh, we do have a tip of the day here on the bench as well. So if you saw Perry's tip of the day last week, of course his were step one, hold on to your circlip. So when you're going to put a circlip onto a main shaft or something like this, tip of the day, don't use a pick. Use a set of actual circlip pliers. Look at that. And you won't even hurt yourself. You can spread them and you can get it right in position. Huh. Pretty funny, huh, Perry? All right, that's our first tip of the day. Let's roll on around this way. So a couple weeks ago, you guys saw that we had a couple of F-Production Miatas in the shop, and they were on the ground, kind of sitting next to each other. Well, looky here. Now we've got them up in the air. Both cars are up in the air. I started in on Bill's car first, got the PBS transmission out of it. You can see it over here on the cart. We're just going to hang on to this as potential use in the future, maybe a rebuild. Certainly we've got all the mounts and everything that we need to put a transmission like this into this car. But in the meantime, took the differential out, and we're changed because of the new transmission that we're putting in. We changed the ring and pinion ratio. We're going to finish up the transmission over there. Got the new ratio in the differential. Looking really good. Once we get these parts together, we're going to be looking good. So over on Stephen Power's car, also have the differential out, also changing the limited slip and the ring and pinion ratio on that because it's getting a different transmission as well. So we're not going to be taking a look up underneath these cars because, in my opinion, these are cars that have had a lot of development done to them, and the guys that spent all that time, effort, and money deserve a little secrecy and privacy when it comes to what they've done to their cars to make them so fast. And I don't feel like it's my job to like show you guys everything that they've done, but two really cool cars, both in good progress. We're going to keep pushing and see if we can get these cars back to these guys before the snow flies. We're pushing it here. The weather has been very nice in Topeka this week. It's been in the 70s. It's been awesome, but it is November. Odds are it's going to go crash, just like that. That's how it works here in the Midwest. So, okay, next thing to look at, guys, check this out. So I've got a Honda block, and this block is going to be going out to get sleeved. So this is one of Mike Taylor's blocks. And as you can see, I have spent a little bit of time making, I got a nice big tote and I cut a bunch of pieces of foam to fit perfectly because this block is going to be getting shipped out. So you can see everything's nice and tight. This is how you ship things properly. I know we've talked about how we do it with the engines. Bare blocks also need the same attention, because this is, if you've ever had something heavy come in a little cardboard box, you know that these things just get tossed around, and packing peanuts should be banned from packing anything except for maybe little 0.5 pound bits and pieces. Never use packing peanuts. Use some high dense foam, because if this gets dropped, that foam will actually protect that block, because it'll crush, sort of like how they put dense foam in your helmet. Protect your skull, right? So there you go. Tip of the day, pack things up properly when you're going to ship them. Do yourself a favor and whoever you're shipping it to. So, I don't think this car was here a couple weeks ago. This is an original 91 second owner car in a Miata, and I did a bunch of work to this car. It had an original clutch in it. I couldn't believe it. Car's only got 70,000 miles on it. Original clutch, original brakes. It was amazing. So we did a clutch job, did brakes. It had the original shocks and struts on it. Doesn't have struts, it has shocks, coil-over shocks, not coilovers, coil-on shocks. What am I trying to say? Whatever, don't pay attention to me. One of them was blown, got them all changed out. What a beautiful example of a really early 1.6, and you can see this is one of the special edition cars, and they actually made a tag for the original owner. This is number 3780 of 4,000 of these ever made in 91. Really cool car. It's in really good shape. I love working on these early, all original Miatas. Really, really nice car. So they should be coming by this afternoon to get this picked up out of Kansas City, and they can go enjoy what is going to feel like a brand new car to them. So Mazda 2 update. It's been a couple weeks, right? So you can see I've got the dash mounted exactly the way I want it. I've got the new AIM dash installed. I started working on some of the wiring, and basically, as you can probably tell, I decided to completely gut it. So I'm going to get this completely cleaned up on this side. Like I said, complete gut job. I pulled off all the wiring out of the switch panel. You can see I've got my little Flagtronics thing mounted up here, but I've got all the wiring out now. You know, I was just thinking about if I was going to kind of make it the way I like it, and as I got into it, I just decided to just start ripping and tearing. So do it once, do it right. I've already moved the AccuSump brackets here. So you can see they were over here. I'm going to move it over here because I've got room for my new battery that I'm going to put in here. Got another oxygen sensor I need to put in, and just kind of rethinking the entire inside of this car. Something I did find in the car that I didn't realize, but look at this. Perry forgot his fingers. I guess he didn't make it to the hospital to get them sewn back on. I don't know how he's going to work with 3 fingers. But anyway, yeah, so if you come around this side, you can kind of see the pile of bits and pieces, everything that I just kind of ripped out. So they had kind of loomed this old stuff up and just kind of tied it up and left it inside the car. I hate extra wires just laying around. And so I'm just going to get rid of all this stuff and redo everything the way I want to do it. And like I said, do it once, do it right, and call it good. Another thing that I've always noticed about these AccuSumps, by the way, they come, I mean, I'm a big proponent of AccuSumps, right? So they come with these little chintzy gauges. I've probably talked about this before. These gauges are horrible. They're inaccurate. They break generally on the very first time you use them. Go to Summit Racing. They make a perfect fluid-filled gauge that will screw right into here. I'll probably show you that in one of the shop tours coming up. But I'm going to get this taken apart, make sure it's clean inside, make sure everything's working, the O-rings and the bore look good. So we're looking good here. So that's kind of what I've been chipping away on, is kind of pulling everything out of the car, rethinking about what I'm going to do. I'm also going to be redoing all of the Aeroquip lines. There was no check valve for the AccuSump system, which is a big no-no. The AccuSump was actually dumping right into the outside of where the oil comes out of the engine versus where the oil goes in the engine. We're going to talk about AccuSump plumbing here over the winter as well. So lots of details. So like I always say, just keep chipping away at your car. So that's what I'm doing. Every morning I'll come out here about 15, 20, 30 minutes early and work on my car. So we're, let's see, first race is going to be March. So we've got a few months, but this way I can take my time, think it through, and get things done properly. So that's our shop tour for the week, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, if you missed Perry's goof shop tour last week for Halloween, go back and check that out. And appreciate you guys watching as always. We'll see you next week. Take care.